So I think last day I was discussing about the different pricing options of different AWS classes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what instances you should purchase? So that case you need to consider this following parameters. That for the on-demand instances, that is compute capacity is by hour and second. That is whatever you are required any instances, but you don't know how long it will be required and what should be its utilization level will increase. So in all cases, if you are uncertain, then basically you should go for the on-demand instances where pay-per-use billing will be there. Okay. Now another option is the reserved instances where you are certain about what should be your utilization level in the next 1 month or the next 1 year. So you can go for the reserved instance pricing, reserved instances. And but if you go for the reserved instances, that the payment term, that is the reserve term, is 1 year or 3 years. That means either you have to take it for 1 year or you can have to take it for 3 years. If you obviously take it for 3 years, the prices will be much more less. And spot instance thing is that it is basically if you require a huge resource intensive instances for very small amount of time, that is for 1 day or for half day. So in those cases you can go for the spot instances. Okay, and if there is a risk also. Your instances may can be lost if you are outbid. Means if suppose you have bid it for 40 rupees and the current minimum bid was 20 rupees, and right now if the demand increases, that bid will no longer valid. So immediately the instances will be taken from you. Now that case, how to protect your data? So that there is some policy is there for set up by the AWS that I will discuss to you. And what is dedicated host? Dedicated host can be purchased on demand hourly basis. Means that the entire instances and the instance space and the instance location, that is the data center, everything will remain reserved for you only. Now, yeah, that I discussed about the spot instances if it has been taken from you. Suppose the spot instance right now its actual cost is 100 rupees or $100. Right now it is not being used, so AWS has put up it for the auction as a bid for the spot instance, and the minimum bid price is 20 rupees. So this is the case studies. Now you have given the bid price of 35 rupees, so that is why as it is greater than the minimum bid price, so the instance is given to you. Now if the demand comes, then with a notice the AWS can take your instance. Now, if the AWS take your instance, what to do with your data? But they will do that your instances have taken some data, and that data is stored in the storage space, and that storage space is suppose EBS volume. EBS means elastic block storage. Okay. Now, if they have stored your data in the EBS, now that EBS will go for the hibernation. Hibernation as if you have shut down your instances. But your data will not be deleted. You will be given another notice period of suppose 1 day or 1 week. It will tell you that please back up your data. One option. Another option is that suppose if you have any AMI instances, means your instances is right now registered as AMI, Amazon Machine Image. That case, you can connect your EBS data with the AMI instances that you have right now. Means you can transfer your data from the hibernated EBS to your AMI. And whenever you will create a new instances, that time you can take the backup of your AMI data from the AMI instances. Okay. Or another thing also you can do that you can take the backup in your local machine. It will give you one notice period that please take the backup of your data within 1 day. Okay. So is this clear to you? So if during the spot instance, if your instances is taken back from you, so what to do with your data? Student, any clarification required? Hello, students, is the spot instance hibernation is clear to you? Raju,
Yes, sir.
is this clear to you people?
सर एक बार और रिपीट करने से सर ठीक था.
Okay, means that spot instance कब लिया जाता है? जब तुम्हारे पास huge amount of instances required but for a specific amount of time. Suppose तुमको IPL का मैच पूरा लाइव दिखाना है 2 घंटे के लिए and you will show it from your mobile or from your server only. That case the IPL viewer is suppose 10 crore. So now how to make it available to the 10 crore viewer through OTT platform or the satellite platform. So that case you require a huge resource intensive database and huge resource intensive system through which you can show this one, but it is required only for 3 hours or 4 hours. Now, if you go for the pay-per-use model, it will be cost huge amount. But instead of this, if you go for the spot instances, that will be much more lucrative solution for you, right? Now, if you find out that in AWS California data center, there are spot instances are available. Now, that spot instances are giving to you with an 80% discount. Means if the cost is $100, I can take it minimum bid price $20. Now, if you outbid it, that means instead of $20, if you are bidding for $25 or $30, the other person also can bid. Now, if my bid price is greater than your bid price, that case I will be given the instance. ओके आप लोग नीलाम देखते हो ना नीलाम की तरह तो जो नीलाम में अच्छा प्राइस देगा उसको ही दे देगा okay now why AWS is giving this as a spot instance price because right now there is no demand of instances in AWS California data center. Now you are showing this IPL match to them to your viewer with the spot instances. Now after 1 hour or 2 hour, if you find AWS has find out that their demand for the instances at the California data center increases. That is what they will do that they will take the instances from you with a 5 minutes notice. Now with that 5 minutes, you can do two things. Either you can take the backup in your local machine or you can transfer entire services to your new instances. You create one instances in an on-demand basis and you can transfer this one. Though you have to pay more, but your data or your service will remain uninterrupted. और if your services is non-critical services means the data अगर मैं डेटा स्टोर करके रख दिया बाद में दिखाने से भी हो जाएगा तो क्या करोगे store this data to some your reserve current existing instances register with the current existing instances or register with some AMI means AMI means what आपके पास एक इंस्टेंस था जो अभी यूज नहीं हो रहा है आप इसको रजिस्टर करके रख दिया Amazon machine image के अंदर. So you can put your instances in the AMI image also. Now, whenever it is required, you can retrieve your data from there already. So this is the concept of in case of spot instances, if the instance is taken back from you, then how to resume your services in an uninterrupted manner. Now, is this clear to you?
सर जब हम लोग ने उबर वाला एग्जांपल दिया था सर ऑटो स्केलिंग वाले पार्ट में सर उसमें भी ऐसे हम लोग करना पड़ता है क्या मतलब स्पॉट इंस्टेंस वगैरह
उबर अगर ऐसा करेगा तो नहीं चलेगा यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट कहाँ पे मुझे स्पॉट इंस्टेंस यूज करना है उबर का जो सर्विस है उसमें उबर को ये सर्विस पूरा दिन भर चाहिए 24/7 और मैं एक एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ जैसे आईपीएल का व्यूअरशिप अचानक बढ़ जाता है फॉर दैट आई नीड एन इंस्टेंस वो 3 घंटे के लिए चाहिए इसके बाद भी नहीं चाहिए उसके पहले भी नहीं चाहिए तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, वो 3 घंटे के लिए एक स्पॉट इंस्टेंस ले सकते हैं। पर इसके लिए तुम्हारा जो उबेर है उसके लिए कौन सा सॉल्यूशन अच्छा रहेगा, ऑन डिमांड सर्विसेज, जिसमें हम लोग स्केल अप और स्केल डाउन आसानी से कर सकते हैं। तो एज ए क्लाउड प्रैक्टिशनर इंजीनियर, cloud engineer, you have to think about for your company what type of application it is, and for that kind of application what kind of services will be good. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you, it will be more clearer if I show you the another example. Next is the CloudWatch. So you know what is CloudWatch? So CloudWatch is basically being used to monitor your instances services. It is not billing services. It is just checking that whatever is written in your SLA, service level agreement, whether the services are giving as per the service level agreement or not. And it will, if the services, there is some interruption in the services, it will immediately keep a record in the logbook. Okay. Then auto scaling of your services. Your services will be scaled up or scaled down as per the user's requirement. And elastic IP also, you know. What is elastic IP? Can anybody tell me? Just for reminding purpose, what is elastic IP? Surojit? Avilash Shaikia? Avilash? Akramul?
हाँ सर, एक स्टैटिक IPv4 एड्रेस है डायनेमिक क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग के लिए।
What is its specific features? It is not static IP. What is the specific features of elastic IP?
So we can like associate a elastic IP with our instance.
Elastic IP is associated with the instance or account?
With our instance.
Anybody else? Akramul? Orpita? Ben?
So elastic IP is the IP that is always associated with account when application is stopped.
Exactly.
And the IP remains with the account but not with the application.
Fantastic. So that is basically the elastic IP. It is associated with your account. Now within your account, if any application is required that IP, then that IP will be given to you. And if the application is stopped, that IP will be deassociated from your application, but it will remain associated with your account. So that IP can be used for any other application within the same account. Correct. Okay. Abhilash, is this clear to you right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now EC2 OS and software. So that case, whatever OS you are taking, so AWS has created some licensing agreement with those software vendors so that you can use those software. Now, whenever you are utilizing any services of EC2, so whatever billing is being done, so it includes the licensing cost also. Okay, but it is in case of Azure, it is different. In case of Azure, the licensing cost and the hardware cost is separate. Means that if you have your own Windows license, you can use your Windows license in the cloud model. Means whatever cloud resources you have created, or cloud server you have created, or cloud instances you have created, you can associate your existing Windows license on that created cloud server. So that case, you don't have to pay extra for your Windows license. Okay, but in case of AWS, the already whatever Windows license is there in the cloud, that will be given to you. Okay, now whenever you will go for taking a cloud services for your company, that case you need to think about how to optimize the cost for your company by optimizing the resources. One thing is that that can be done automatically by writing a code through auto scaling purposes. Still, the auto scaling option is available for the on-demand services. But for the reserved instances or the spot instances or for the dedicated instances, that facility is not available. Now, in some cases, in some applications, you might have to take the reserved instances or you might have to take the or what are the other services, spot instances or the other services. So out of this also, how can you optimize your services? Let us check what are the things we need to monitor, what are the things we need to keep it in our mind. One is the right sizing, reserve instances, increase elasticity, monitor and improve. Now for the right sizing, we have to select the appropriate instance type, then downsize the instances if we find out that the utilization is not that much. And after that, we have to associate the CloudWatch matrix to check the utilization level of your services. And and if you ultimately find out that okay, so right now I have rightly sized my instances, now I can go for the reserving of my instances. Okay. Now, in what cases, what type of instances I should choose? If you find out that my workload is spiky, means sorry, my workload is increasing and decreasing continuously. जैसे उबेर और ओला का सर्विस अभी कौन पूछ रहा था, राजू पूछ रहे थे ना. हाँ? So in case of Ola,
Yes.
Uber service where the utilization is varying, or your Netflix services, so where the utilization is varying, in that case you can go for the on-demand services where the workload is spiky and no long-term commitment. But in some of the services, you know that I have a steady state workload. I know the workload, what type of workload will come for the next 1 year. So that case, अगर ये workload मेरा steady है, एक साल के लिए चाहिए, why don't I reserve that workload and by paying the upfront fees? एडवांस पूरा देके पूरा एक साल के लिए मैंने ले लिया, आज नहीं तो कल तो मुझे पूरा पैसा देना ही है. Why don't we give the entire amount in advance? If I give the entire amount in advance, then I can save 50% to 75% cost. And when the spot instance is required, if you require a service, huge amount of service for a particular small amount of time, that case you can bid for the unused Amazon EC2 capacity. So it is basically used for the time intensive workload. Another is the dedicated one. Dedicated means okay, this reserve instance, for the reserve instances also your instances will be given to you, but they might change your location, that is the data center location. But if you keep it as a dedicated one, that case your data center location, your IP address, everything will remain fixed for you. So reserve instances with a higher security, if you require that one, you can go for the dedicated instances. Now, is this clear? When to use on-demand services, when to use reserve instance services, when to use spot instance services, when to use dedicated instance services. Is this clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Now, instance is not only about your EC2 instances, it may be your RDS instances, relational database services, or it may be your DynamoDB, or it may be your Amazon Redshift. Redshift is basically used for the data warehousing services. If you have to store huge amount of data for the analysis purpose, you can use the Redshift services. Or the Elastic Cache services. Elastic Cache already I discussed. Can you tell me what is Elastic Cache? Well, Elastic Cache is basically edge cache. Age instances, age locations, and age cache. What are they? Last class I have discussed this one.
Sir, data that are not frequently accessed are stored in age cache.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Now, for the result instances, the cover always the on resources and 70% of your services on the on coverage is there, and it will always because before taking the reserve instances for any company, first you should go for the on demand, because you don't know what should be your company's actual requirement of instances. So take it on demand, and based on your requirement, your instances will scale up or scale down. So, and whatever data you are utilizing, what is the utilization level, it is being stored in your CloudWatch monitor. So by looking at the CloudWatch monitor log details, you can come to and you can identify that what is your optimized utilization level, and based on this you can come to a conclusion that okay, so this much of instances are required for me for the next 12 months. So from the on-demand services, then move to your reserve instances services. Okay. So this is not required for you. Next is the okay. Now the right sizing means that if you require the instances, suppose for your services, that case what type of instances will be better? Means that if you have existing instances, shall I go for upgrading the instance value? Means if it is 4 GB RAM, shall I upgrade it to 8 GB RAM, or instead of 4 GB RAM, I should take another 4 GB RAM? So which one will be suitable for you? Means what I wanted to say that if your utilization increases, shall I go for spawning or shall I go for scale up? How to take the decision? So look at this. Here your utilization level, utilization is increasing, right? Here your utilization is increasing. Now what they have done that, so based on the increased utilization, they have created two type of, to meet the increased utilization, they have taken for the same kind of resource requirement, they have created two kind of server. One is 29 M4.large services they have taken. So this orange color servers are basically 29 servers they have taken, that is M4.large. Another case study, what they have done that for the same resource requirement, they have taken 59 T2.medium services. So T2.medium services, the server size is very small. You can see the box size. From that, you can have an idea that what should be your server size. Now they find out that if we take 59 T2.medium, it can mitigate your requirement, as well as if you take instead of this 29 M4.large, that can also mitigate your requirement. But in case of 59 T2.medium, your costing is coming around $2,200 per month, whereas the costing for 29 M4.large is $2,500. So it is mitigating the same requirement, but taking 29 M4.large, your costing is around $300 more. So if you take 59 T2.medium, you can save $300. Now the reason is also clear here. You can check that this line, this blue line is my requirement. Okay. Now, if you take the orange color servers, you can see that some of the portion of the orange color servers which are out of your card, so which are not being used at all. So your resource utilization is not appropriate if you take the higher capacity instances instead of lower capacity instances. Is this clear to you, students? This is very important. The right sizing of your instances based on your requirement. Is this clear to you? Or shall I explain it again?
Yes, sir.
Is this
Sir,
clear?
can you
जो
Sir?
explain
ये
it again?
बोलो.
Sir, फिर से
सर
explain कर दो एक बार.
I am not getting it. Can you repeat it again? I am not getting your question.
Sir, explain it
Hello?
one more time.
Oh, explaining. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
see, this is my requirement. This blue line is requirement. Right now, what is the requirement? Suddenly, there is a spike. That means the requirement increases. Now, there is two options. I can take less number of instances with the higher capacity, or I can take more number of instances with lower capacity. Now, what is the difference between them? Now, to mitigate the requirement, they have taken two case studies. To mitigate the requirement, they have taken 29 M4 dot large instances, where the costing is coming around 2,500. Another cases, they have taken 59 T2 dot medium instances, where the costing is around 2,200. Both are serving the same purpose, but in this case, the costing is low. Sorry. Okay, so why it is more? You can see that to mitigate the requirement, whenever I have taken the larger size instances, few of the instance area which are not being utilized. ऊपर में देखो कार्ड के बाहर जो इंस्टेंस है दे आर नॉट बीइंग यूटिलाइज्ड, पर उसके जगह पे अगर तुम छोटा इंस्टेंस लेते तो तुम्हारा छोटा इंस्टेंस में काम बन जाता है. That is why the costing is coming more in case of 29 M4 dot large, and if you take instead of this 59 T2 dot medium, you can save actually $300. Now is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
सर
Yeah, बोलो.
सर इसमें जो हम लोग ने ये ग्राफ टाइप का बनाया यूटिलाइजेशन वाला, सर ये मतलब प्रिडिक्टिव एनालिसिस करता है या फिर मतलब जो पुराना वाला
ये रन टाइम में हो रहा है.
रियल टाइम में से ना? अच्छा ओके
रियल टाइम में हो रहा है. रियल टाइम में वो क्लाउड वॉच मॉनिटर तुम्हारा ग्राफ शो करते रहेगा. बेस्ड ऑन दिस तुम अगर ये स्केल अप स्केल डाउन जो पॉलिसी लिख लिया उसी हिसाब से वो बढ़ाते रहेगा. इवन स्केल अप डाउन पॉलिसी में भी तुम लिख सकते हो whether I should increase the existing resources or whether I should go for spawning. तो उसी हिसाब से काम करते रहेगा.
यस सर.
Any other question? If there is no question, that case I am going to end up the session over here. But next day I am going to ask you, because so many things I have discussed, but I need to check your understanding level also. Okay, so thanks for
Sir.
participating. Bolo.
Sir, will IP address remain same in reserve instances?
Yes, in the IP address will remain same, because when you
But
have
sir,
taken
but the
reserve
location.
instances,
Yes,
location,
sir.
yeah, no issue. If the with the account my IP address is there, IP address never depends on your location.
Yes, sir.
It's free. Yeah, irrespective of your geographic location.
Okay, sir.
Is there any other question?
No, sir.